This isn't a standalone event, but it's the first part of his amazing life story. Just as the things that we think about and remember on Christmas can guide us the entire year through. Everything starts somewhere, and for our Savior, it started in a small manger in Bethlehem. But it didn't end there. And this is why Jesus is the morning star, the last star of the Nativity. What seems like the end of the story is really the beginning of something much greater. First, the morning star, Jesus, is a thing we've all been waiting for. One constant with the Christmas season is how December 25th is always counted down to everywhere. You hear on the radio, there's 16 shopping days left until Christmas. There's a week to go until Christmas. It's 2 Sundays to go until Christmas. There's even products now that can digitally count down the days until Christmas on your front yard, starting with 99 days before Christmas. Just think, sometime in the fall you can put out this snowman to remind people, oh, only 87 more days until Christmas. Get ready. Finally, when December 24th and 25th come, either really quickly or really slowly, depending on if you're buying or asking for the gifts, the long countdowns are all over. It's time to celebrate. It was much the same way for Jesus' birth. The various prophecies have foretold of certain little bits of the event. Each one had a different connection to the eventual nativity story. And it was finally time for all these seemingly random, outlandish predictions to all come true simultaneously in one birth. All of the prophecies began on his birth, from the location, to the events surrounding it, to his parents, to everything. Everything is put in motion with Jesus' arrival. Now the waiting is over, and the actions of Jesus' life and our lives can now begin. That's why the morning star is the last star of the Nativity. The morning is the start of the day, not the end. It's the beginning. Now that this thing we've been waiting for, Jesus, is here, it's time to move on with it. The morning star is the time to turn the page. With the birth of Jesus, a new start was given to all of us. It can be seen in how people were now given a simple decision for salvation, instead of trying to become clean by sacrificing animal after animal. That scene, for example, was this room being carpeted. If we had to sacrifice animal after animal, I doubt we'd have carpeting out here. And it can also be seen how God wasn't just for the chosen few anymore. All of us here aren't Jewish or come from the same tribe. We're a unique mix. And just as humanity is a unique mix, God, through Jesus, opened himself up to all of us. Or it can be seen with our calendars, as Jesus' birth reset the clock on how we count the number of years, for example. A new start seems to be what everyone looks for at this time of year. People try to analyze everything from the last year, put those events in some kind of context before starting anew, but in this case in 2011. There's the person of the year, the event of the year, the moment of the year, and all of that. However, at the end of all those segments, there's nothing but an empty canvas for next year. Another way that the fresh start is shown is through our New Year's resolutions. We act as if New Year's Day is finally that point that we're going to do that thing we've always wanted to do, but never really did. Well, it's the new year, it's a new calendar, so I'm going to do it. Really though, Jesus was that moment of change for more people than a New Year's resolution ever could be. He was the fresh start that the world was looking for, and is still a fresh start for so many people today. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 5, verse 13, a man with leprosy comes to Jesus wanting to be healed. The man says, if you want to, you can cleanse me. Jesus replies, I want to, be that truly is a fresh start. He's not being healed because healing would involve some type of scar. He's not being fixed because being fixed signifies some type of imperfection or patchwork. Instead, he's clean. He's perfect. He's brand new again. That is the fresh start that all of us on earth are looking for. And that's what Jesus brings in his message. It's not just an arbitrary point that we've decided on the calendar. Well, it's the new year, so time to change. No, Jesus' verse is the point where, despite everything that went on before, everything in the Old Testament, and everything that was going on in Judea at that time, everyone had a chance to be fresh and clean. And for the first time, that cleanliness came with one clean man in his ability to forgive, instead of constantly doing something that never really gets the job done, like sacrificing a goat, and then another goat, and then a sheep, and then a bird, and then another goat. Finally, we had the fresh start, the complete fresh start that we were looking for. The morning star is the changing event that makes this all possible, and it all happened just perfectly. One thing to keep in mind on Christmas is how unlikely it is, if you're just going by the earthly code or whatever, that all of these prophecies over hundreds and hundreds of years all culminated in one event where everything went off perfectly. It's hard enough for all of us to coordinate things on Christmas. You have to get a gift for everyone in your family. You have to get a certain thing. Everything has to be wrapped. Everything has to be packed away. We take this pile of gifts to this party. We take this pile of gifts to this party. We need to make food. We need to take this food to this party. We need to take the dish home and then make more food for the next party. Throughout our Christmas, everything is really chaotic, and things don't always work out as we planned. However, with Jesus' verse, all of those prophecies happened right when we needed them to be. Everything worked out. As I mentioned earlier, there are a ton of year-in-review features on TV and magazines and all that. For this year, the top event that people pretty much decided was the BP oil spill. Unfortunately, unclean birds covered in oil is too easy of a metaphor to talk about. So I had to go from the American media to the Canadian media. Up north, in Canada, the biggest story of the year was Team Canada winning the hockey gold medal at the Olympics. And in Canada, the entire Olympics, all the preparation, all of the money, all the events, really came down to them winning the gold medal in hockey. If they win, great success. If they lose, it's a failure. Naturally, Canada starts off the game, quick goal in the first period, quick goal in the second, 2-0 Canada. The country's starting to relax. Then Team USA scores a goal late in the second period. Not so easy. Team USA scores again with 25 seconds to go in the game. And suddenly, at the very last event of the Olympics, one fluke goal could mean we spent millions of dollars on a great success, or we spent billions of dollars and it's a failure. Luckily for Canada, Sidney Crosby scored on a relatively weak little shot for the game-winning goal. Canada wins, big success. Here's how the official news recap of the game began. Rest assured Canada, the national honor is served. Everything embarrassing from the beginning of the game is forgotten. Canada is the Olympic champion in hockey, and the whole country can finally celebrate. Which begs the question, what if they don't score? What if they don't celebrate? What if all this hype goes flat? Jesus' verse seems like a well-told story today, but it really was a miraculous thing. What if all the prophecies don't come true? What if it's not the great event that everyone was anticipating in the Jewish community? What if he isn't the great Savior, he's just some other prophet? It seems like it was meant to be the way it was, and it was that. But just think of all of the things that could have happened that would have made the story imperfect. What if Joseph and Mary weren't running late and they could get a regular hotel room? What if the leader at the time doesn't call for a census or has other things to do? Everything that was foretold wouldn't have ended up happening the way it was foretold. There would be kind of a dead disappointment instead of the unbridled joy. However, the miracles did happen, and those Christmas miracles allowed for the rest of the miracles over Jesus' life to happen as well. Which makes the Christmas story that much more miraculous. It's not just the night of his birth, it's the morning of the next day. It's every other morning of his life. For that entire network of connections and events brought us all together for the nativity scene all the way to the resurrection. By next week, the Christmas holidays will be over. But the spirit of what transpired in Bethlehem is something that can't get put away with the decorations or thrown out with the tree. It's our great beginning and our great redemption. It's the new morning for us all after a night of sin. And that's why Jesus is the morning star of Christmas. Christmas isn't over on December 25th. In reality, Christmas is just beginning.
Amen.